If Dillon Gabriel doesn't show better than he has in the first 3 outings, then Shedeur Sanders' time needs to be then. You owe it to yourself to find out what Shedeur Sanders can and cannot do. You absolutely do. And so to me, it is a missed opportunity if they stay the course with Dillon Gabriel after the bye, if Dillon Gabriel doesn't show significant improvement against the New England Patriots this weekend. You asked the question, what was the point of starting Dillon Gabriel? What was the point of drafting Shedeur Sanders? What was the point of keeping him on your active roster if you weren't going to play him at some point this season? It would literally be pointless.
Cleveland Browns supporters just got blindsided with a stunner. Ex-NFL defensive standout Chris Canty has exposed head coach Kevin Stefanski for straight-up lying. And this bombshell could completely reshape how the fan base views their team's leadership moving forward. Like the video if you love Shedeur. Comment SS100 if you want Shedeur to start in the NFL. Based on Canty's detailed analysis, Stefanski has been publicly talking a big game about nurturing his young signal callers, Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. But what's actually happening behind closed doors tells a wildly different tale. The harsh reality is, one of the Browns' most exciting young arms isn't receiving any real development whatsoever. Canty didn't hold anything back. He blasted Stefanski for saying one thing and doing another, showing clear favoritism and completely mishandling a critical piece of Cleveland's future. And now this revelation has Browns fans wrestling with a brutal question. Can they even trust their head coach anymore? Earlier today, Chris Canty absolutely unloaded on Kevin Stefanski for the deception he's been spreading about Shedeur Sanders. And you definitely don't want to miss this. But we're breaking down the entire situation right here. And this drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Now, I need everyone to lock in and pay close attention to what Chris Canty laid out this morning when he exposed every single lie Kevin Stefanski has been telling about Shedeur Sanders. And you're not going to believe what just came out. Listen to this.
I thought that Kevin Stefanski said earlier in the year that he is focused on the development of all of his young quarterbacks. Isn't that what he said? He was focused on the development of Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. That's what he got us. And now we're at the place where you're not going to get Shedeur reps. You're not going to prepare him for the games, knowing that he could be the number 2 quarterback, knowing that he's one hit away from going in. How does that make sense? Usually a backup quarterback will get 15 to 20% of the reps in practice with the first team.
With the first team? Okay.
Yeah, just so he's prepared to go in the game if he has to. Right? So if you have a team period of 12 snaps, the backup quarterback will get 2 to 3. The fact that he's not is weird, and I don't understand it.
Let's break down what Stefanski promised versus what he's actually delivering. Not too long ago, the Browns head coach went on record saying he was fully committed to developing all his young quarterbacks. It sounded legitimate. Supporters interpreted it as confirmation that both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel would receive the appropriate focus and preparation they're entitled to. But according to numerous insider sources, that statement was complete fiction. While Stefanski painted a picture of Shedeur being an integral piece of the Browns' offensive development strategy, he hasn't been receiving any first-team practice reps whatsoever, not even a handful. For anyone who knows how NFL preparation operates, that's wildly abnormal. Typically, a backup quarterback, particularly a gifted rookie, gets approximately 15 to 20% of first-team snaps each week. This ensures he's battle-ready to jump in immediately if the starter goes down.
Now, from a mental standpoint, you don't want to shake the confidence of your young quarterback in Dillon Gabriel, especially since he's been uneven across his first 3 starts. So maybe there is a little bit of protecting him to keep him from looking over his shoulder when it comes to the Shedeur of it all, because the media is clamoring for it. The fan base certainly wants to see it. Everybody wants number 12 in a Browns jersey to get out there so they can see what he wants to do, because he is one of the most polarizing figures in the NFL, mostly through no fault of his own. Maybe this is Kevin Stefanski trying to shield Dillon Gabriel from all of that. But to that, I would say, if you're that worried about the fragility of his mental state, then he's probably not your franchise quarterback anyway.
Normally, the backup would get a certain percentage of the reps, and the fact that Shedeur isn't does raise some eyebrows as to why not. I'm wondering what the motive is here for the Browns to not make sure that he's at least somewhat ready in a God forbid type scenario if Dillon Gabriel can't go and he needs to go out there and be the starter.
So when reports surfaced that Shedeur Sanders wasn't getting a single rep with the first-team offense, it immediately sparked major concerns. If the organization genuinely believes in developing all its young QBs equally, why is Shedeur being completely shut out?
No. I mean, with a young quarterback with Dillon starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps. Different when you have a veteran like Joe, I would tell you. But still getting reps in a bunch of periods.
Fetch, but they're clearly entertaining that. If that's a part of the math, then this is likely going to be the last start for Dillon Gabriel unless Dillon Gabriel takes the bull by the horns and has an unbelievable performance.
The massive disconnect between Stefanski's public statements and his actual decisions is exactly what triggered Canty's explosive takedown. He hammered Stefanski for preaching one narrative publicly while executing the complete opposite privately, a strategy that screams either dishonesty or straight-up manipulation. The real issue here goes way beyond a few missed practice opportunities. It's about credibility, preparation, and fair treatment. By freezing Shedeur out, Stefanski isn't just stunting his growth. He's broadcasting to both his roster and the fan base that not everyone's getting equal treatment. In the NFL, backup quarterbacks are literally one collision away from taking the field. They absolutely need those first-team reps to grasp the timing, build chemistry, and understand the offensive rhythm. Stripping away that preparation means if the starter falters or takes a hit, the backup gets thrown into live action completely unprepared. That's a reckless bet for any franchise, but especially for the Browns, who've dealt with quarterback chaos season after season. So what's driving all of this? Canty floated a theory that actually makes perfect sense. He suspects that Stefanski is trying to shelter Dillon Gabriel, the current starter, from feeling any heat. Gabriel's outings through the first few weeks have been shaky at best. He's flashed some potential, but he's also committed critical errors and lacked consistency. Rather than letting healthy competition fuel Gabriel's improvement, Stefanski appears to be insulating him by keeping Shedeur Sanders buried and away from the action. By doing this, Stefanski guarantees Gabriel doesn't feel pressure from a younger, talented quarterback breathing down his neck. But here's where it gets problematic. If your starter's mental fortitude is so delicate that legitimate competition could shatter it, is he actually your franchise quarterback? That's precisely the question commentators and supporters are demanding answers to. Baby and Gabriel's feelings might preserve short-term stability, but it sacrifices long-term growth and potentially the organization's entire future.
Two rookie quarterbacks, and the one that's starting has only had 3 games. I don't see that Dillon Gabriel is on the hot seat. I don't see that maybe this is his last start. I don't see that they're going to use the season to get reps for both of them. Every indication is they feel, for better or worse, they feel like Dillon Gabriel gives them the better option now and later, and thus he's the starting quarterback.
If this situation was purely about optics, fans might overlook it. But the actual statistics completely demolish any argument that Dillon Gabriel has earned unquestioned startup privileges. Through his opening starts, Gabriel's production ranks among the absolute worst league-wide. Completion percentage, 59.8, 31st out of 34 qualified quarterbacks. Total QBR, 30, 33rd in the NFL. Those aren't the metrics of an emerging franchise player. Those are the numbers of a struggling quarterback who should be battling to maintain his position. Yet despite these abysmal results, Stefanski keeps defending Gabriel publicly while refusing to grant Shedeur even one legitimate shot. That's not player development, that's crisis management. Tell us your thoughts in comments below, and do like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more amazing in-detail analysis. Until then, peace.